Hi folks, I'm releasing this video because it has some corrections to the previous video that I did regarding diagramming the first stanza in the poem. I talked to a grammar expert, and there were a couple of minor mistakes, so basically I redid it, moved a few things around, and also because of some of the questions I got, I wanted to release a little bit more detail into how I arrived at this diagram that I have here. I'm going to do so. I'm not going to explain what all the lines mean and you know how to actually do the diagram. I'm just going to explain how I applied it. Okay. Before I do that, I also want to address something else. I'm fully aware that there's something called poetic license, and that poets can change or modify the grammar. I'm aware of that. This is common knowledge. This is not a surprise to me. But the whole reason for diagramming it is twofold. One, we have to understand the poem. We have to understand what verbs, and what's a noun, what's an adjective, what's an adverb, why did he choose that word, how is the context, and so on. And that is what a diagram does. Second, even though poets have poetic license, that doesn't mean, in most cases, with some exceptions, and honestly the people that do things completely strange are really frowned upon. But in any case, a poet is not going to abuse the grammar in such a way that he's going to confuse his readers that understand English. That would be pointless, okay? Because he's already got a hard enough job in trying to paint a picture, a visual picture using just words. If he were to, completely blow grammar out the door, it only makes things more difficult. But having said that, a lot of poets do ignore grammar in certain cases. But there's a reason why they do it. They don't just do it haphazardly. They do it to draw attention to a section of the poem. They do it to stress something. They do it for a creative reason. In fact, they want you to see that grammatical error because it's going to help them paint the picture they're trying to paint. But if you don't understand proper grammar, how in the world are you even going to detect those hints in order to be able to analyze the poetry? So that is the reason, in a nutshell, why we would do this. And also, it makes sense to start with a good base. So what we do is we start assuming that the grammar is correct as we go through the poem. If we come across a location that Forrest may have bent the rules, well, our job is to find out why did he do that. He's drawing attention to it. Why? We should have that question immediately, okay? So for now, and also if we do find a mistake, I'm not going to try to correct his mistake. The mistake is there for a reason. What I'm going to do is discuss that mistake with you, and we can evaluate the reasons why he did it, okay? So I'm going to start with a poem, with the poem, and again, this is stanza 1, and this is diagrammed, and that is the reason why. So here we go. The first clause in this sentence is, as I have gone alone in Aaron with my treasured bulb. If we want to diagram it, we need to find the subject and the verb, okay? That's the first thing you do. Now, when you're analyzing a sentence, the first thing you do is find the verb. It makes it easier because sentences have multiple verbs and multiple nouns. So in order to isolate the main subject, you want to locate the main verb or verb phrase and then go and find out who or what it applies to. And that becomes the subject, okay? So here I have underlined in green I. I is the subject in both of these clauses. The primary verb phrase is have gone in the first one, and the second one is can keep. So in the first phrase, we have, for now, I'm going to leave the word as out of the picture. I'll explain that to you in a minute. So what did I do? I is our noun. I is our subject. Well, he gone, okay? And have is a helping verb. I have gone. This is past tense, okay? Well, these two phrases down here are prepositional phrases, and they're actually called adverb. This whole clause is an adverbial clause. because it's modifying the verb. Okay, so we hang the adverb phrases off of there. So when he went in there alone, okay, it says I have gone. Well, how did he go in there? Well, he went in there alone. Okay, he's alone in there. Okay, and we have a coordinating conjunction here, and is tying these two prepositional phrases together. So not only to go alone in there, he was with his treasures. Okay, whose treasures? My treasures. And the treasures were bold. Okay, these are both modifying the noun treasures. So his treasures were bold. Okay, with is the preposition. In is the preposition. There is a noun. It's the location where he went. He went in there. He was alone when he went in there. So both of these things occurred. Okay, so now this is the first phrase in the poem. Now we take the word as. Okay, as is what's called a subordinating conjunction, and its use is to join two clauses. Okay, it's a subordinate. When he put the word as in front of this, it turns this entire thing into a subordinate clause. In other words, it's a dependent. Subordinate and dependent are the same thing. This entire clause then becomes an incomplete thought. The thought is complete when you add the second phrase, which is joined with the word as. As is connecting the verb phrases. As I have gone, I can keep. So as have gone, can keep is joined by the subordinating conjunction as. Okay? Now, in this case, this clause is basically telling us where he went alone. It's past tense. And what was with him, okay? Now, so, again, we could break this down. We could see our nouns instantly. I, treasures, there, okay? We know that and is conjunction. Alone is just describing, he was in there alone. And then my and bold are both being used as adjectives to modify this. This is an adverb phrase. This is an adverb phrase. This whole thing is an adverbial clause because of the word as. Okay. So now we'll look at the second clause. Okay. This clause is telling us why he did it, or why he went alone in there with his treasures bold, is being answered by this part. Okay. This clause he did it so that he could keep two things. Okay. I can keep my secret where. Where is a noun, is being used as a direct object for this. This is basically a noun phrase. Secret where. Whose secret? My secret. Where is the noun? Where is the location of the chest, most likely, right? And he is hinting of what? Of riches. New and old. New and old are adjectives being joined by this conjunction, modifying riches, which is a noun. Hint is being used as a noun. And this is a noun phrase. Secret where. This is an object. This is the object of the verb. Can keep. He could keep two things, the secret where and hint of riches, new and old. So in a nutshell, this whole stanza is telling us that his location is contained within the hints. His hints are at the locations where he went in there alone with his treasures bold. So if we wanted to locate these things at the place he went alone, we would probably do so by trying to locate his treasures bold in that location. This is one of the main reasons why I think that this stanza has two reasons for being there. One, it's describing the area where the chest is, which is what I'm not talking about right now. Two, it's also describing the memoir. He went alone in the memoir. Okay, I proved that in another video. And with his treasures bold, he's keeping a secret where, and he's hinting of riches new and old. Okay, in the memoir. This whole stanza is talking about the memoir. It's optional. It's not a clue. He's telling us that we could use the memoir to get his hints of riches new and old, basically. And that's what the sentence diagram is for. It's a pictorial representation of part of the poem. It makes it easier to see at a glance what word is what. You know, for example, if you're thinking that alone is a noun for some reason, you're wrong. There is being used as a noun. Treasures is being used as a noun. And secretware and hint and riches are nouns. This is a verb phrase. This is a verb phrase. And these are the subjects. Okay? In is a preposition that's telling us where he went. He went in there. And he was alone. Okay? And he was also with another preposition. With what? My treasures. His treasures were bold. Okay? So at a glance, you could see the nouns and the verbs and the adjectives and the adverbs. So when you go to hit the dictionary, you know what they mean. But more importantly, you also see at a glance what the conjunctions are joining. Okay? So and is joining these two phrases, and here is joining this and this. Okay? So that's the whole reason behind diagramming. Now, I want to point something out here before a grammar expert points it out. I'm fully aware that when you do proper sentence diagramming, you're always supposed to put the subordinate clause below the independent clause. So in this case, this whole thing down here is an independent clause. It can stand on its own. The above clause is a subordinate or a dependent clause. It cannot stand on its own. This here, these two lines, cannot be a sentence because of the word as. As is making that dependent. As is the connection to this second part here. And that is what the punctuation is for, by the way. And the punctuation is important for that reason. When you read it, it's kind of tricky because he's setting it up as a poem, and it's very easy to read it as if there is a comma here after the word there when there is not. If there was, that would completely change the diagram. Okay? So this is a dependent clause, and this is telling us. So in a sentence diagram, this top part should actually be on the bottom, and I should put this on the top and join it. I personally didn't do it that way because I like to, as much as possible, keep it mimicking the layout of the poem. And if I were to put this on top, it's going to look strange. But I wanted to point that out because that may also be a hint. You know, this part on the bottom is actually the important part. His secret where is the location of the chest. And he has hints of riches new and old. So where are they? Well, they're alone in there and with his treasures bold. So you see what I mean? So these should be flipped. So I'm not going to do it. You can do it if you want. That's up to you. So anyway, I wanted to get this out there quick because I know that there was a mistake in the older video. And I also wanted to tell you have a great day today. And if you like this video or my other videos, please subscribe and hit the like button. It helps me out. And also, it's optional, but if you'd like to, you could donate to my channel. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but YouTube users do not make anything from any of their content until they get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed. So, yeah, I make zero. So, but anyway, it's not required, but it's optional. So at least like it and subscribe it. Also pass the video around. It helps me get this out there because I don't really participate in any forums and Facebook groups. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the effort, and I'm just not going to do it. My place is here. My videos are here. If you like my stuff, that's cool. Then help support me. You know, if not, then so be it. But anyway, have a great day, and thanks a lot. Bye.